3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
All right, let's count it down. 5, 4. And we're in it. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds with Coach Jack and Coach Shelley.
I would just like to point out that I have mastered, I don't say anything and I don't mouth it anymore, but I don't do the right numbers.
Oh, I thought you were signing.
I don't know any signs. That's your job.
I think do you know this one?
No, but I can figure that out.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
I've got my ideas. I tell them
Thumbs make me uncomfortable.
Thumbs. Especially thumbs. So I remember when we taught Fee like baby signs, and she totally she would totally do this. She would totally ask for milk.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's poop.
Oh, I gotta go poop. Okay.
Yeah. So just learn that one.
I thought it meant something totally different. That's why when you said you taught that to Fee, I was like, I don't often critique your parenting style, but that may be inappropriate.
But I remember she used to, whenever she was hungry, so she would always want to eat. So she'd eat. And she was so funny because when she learned those and before she could talk, but she was able to start crawling around and stuff. Like we'd be down at the pool in the neighborhood, and she would just crawl up to somebody that she saw had food and would just go.
Feed
like
me.
anyone that had food, she
baby bird me.
Rory
and then
does
she
that
knew
too.
more. She knew more of this and more.
It is a golden retriever thing.
Yeah.
So I will offer another story. Andrew took a while to talk, so we taught him the signs and stuff, and we took him to like his 3 or 4 year doctor's appointment where you get like all the shots, like just a ton of shots, and he's about 2/3 and 3/4 of the way through, and he just starts going through every sign he can do of like enough, more, like all of them, just like running through. He looked like in like in T2, like in Terminator, when he's like getting melted down, and he goes through like all of his versions of
the versions you went through.
To, like that was gonna save him. So Andrew was like, "Come on, this is it. Come on, all of it."
They were like one mind, because that's immediately what I pictured when you said that was T1000.
I was like, I'm like crying and laughing at the same time because I feel so bad. I'm like, Doc, just give him the last one. Stop waiting. Hit his leg. Let's go.
Just do them all at once.
Yeah.
So that's something they started after my kids. We did not teach our kids to sign. That was not something.
For Andrew, he had dyspraxia, so he wasn't. I mean, at like 3.5, he was still doing that. Like he barely had any words, and then like in between like 3 and 4, got a new speech therapist, started fish oil, changed his diet up, and it was like bam. And the speech therapist was like, "Hey, look, I'd love to say that was a miracle cure, but she's like, that's about the time that if it's delayed, the neural pathways start to form anyway. So she's like, it could have been coincidence. It could have been this thing. Don't go preaching like everybody needs to eat fish oil all the time. Babies, give it to them, suck it down." She was like, she's like, I threw a lot of things out there. We have no idea what actually made the thing, but he was talking. So, and now he's wicked smart. Do we delay?
He's wicked smart.
He's a bit of a smart ass.
Yeah.
And a bit
part
of
his charm. Yeah.
But anyway.
So, speaking of smart asses,
I'm watching this.
You doing another poop sign? Oh, I don't know what that is. Jackass?
That's bullshit.
I should have known that one.
Yeah.
There's a scene in Children of a Lesser God with Marlee Matlin and William Hurt, where he's like his first day at the job or whatever, and she comes walking by and it's just like rattles off like every curse word in the books, and he's whoa. Yeah. So whenever I see somebody sign curse words, I always think of Marlee Matlin from Children of a Lesser God.
That was an excellent movie.
It's so cool. When I took ASL at the community college, the instructor was great, and I remember we took our final, and before we took our final, she said, she was talking to us, she goes, so one thing that whenever you learn a language, everyone wants to learn the swear words, right? And learn the things you're like not supposed to learn in school. So she's like, swearing in the deaf culture is a very like it's perceived differently. Like I'm not going to tell you what this means, but we can, if I were to put it in like and we probably just got censored on YouTube anyway. But it's that word in the English language, like it's not very appropriate to say in any common language. Like anyway, but it's used a lot more casually in like the deaf culture. Like I mean, you just say it to say it, and so she's like, so it is a very important part of the deaf culture. It's language, any form of language. So she's like, you're going to do your final, and when you're done with the final, you have until X amount of time, and at X time, I'm going to leave the room, and I'm going to come back in 5 minutes. And for anyone that still happens to be here, I will be practicing the swear words in sign language. So you will have been officially dismissed. And if I just happen to walk into a room and you guys are here, I can't really do anything about that. So it was her like very like strategic way of like, I'm not teaching to you this on the community college's time.
That's right.
You just happen to be here. So she ran through the whole thing. She was great.
You remember them all?
Of course he does.
A lot
That's the only thing he remembers.
All right.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah.
Gotta know how to swear.
Yeah. So
well, and I wonder if it's a combination of the function of swear words as adjectives and adverbs in spoken language versus the visual language of signing. You know what I mean? That they serve a different complementary function where
it's almost like it's more literal. And
yeah.
So like,
I mean, because swear words are metaphorical, so that
right.
so that would make sense, and that's why even like the C word in English, in American English, is so offensive, whereas the C word in British English is like a term of endearment between friends and stuff, and so it's all those social constructs around the language that we think,
Context matters.
Yeah, context matters.
We're prudes over here anyway.
We are.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. We don't even know how to use our thumbs correctly.
There is that.
Give that 2 thumbs up. Cool. So if you guys haven't noticed, for those of you watching, Jack is out of town. And if you've been to this class at all in the mornings since last Wednesday, you may have noticed.
I'm also.
This ain't Jack.
Yeah.
This ain't Coach Jack. FYI, I hurt Sally on the first day.
You hurt Sally on the first day?
I felt really bad.
Emotionally or physically?
I think it started physically, and I think it may have made its way into
manifested into emotion.
I haven't seen her yet.
Oh shit.
Well, it's so funny. Like I came in and I was like, all right, I came in and jokingly, I'm just like, all right, it is 5 o'clock. We've got stuff to do. Like X amount to it. Like get on the line, like start warming up. And it was literally like we were doing bunny hops across the floor.
It was backward skipping.
That was it, backwards skipping.
Oh no.
Skipping.
Turned an ankle, knee or something.
Like felt something like her plantar fascia. So yeah.
It's better. She's better today.
Good.
But she's not back yet. Be back soon.
But apparently she's getting oral surgery done.
She's getting oral surgery, so Eric says she needs a new doctor because that has nothing to do with
her foot. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so we've got to have a talk.
Jeez.
Unless you have foot and mouth disease, in which case.
Which she didn't mention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or if, like you're Eric, and you put your foot in your mouth all the time. Yeah.
What's the saying? I only open my mouth.
Take my foot out of it.
Enough to
remove your foot.
Yeah.
6 feet or something like that. Yeah.
So,
something like that.
So Eric, there's a lot of Eric at 5 a.m. Eric is a robust presence at 5 a.m. He came in and he said this morning to Shannon Connors, "What up, Shannon?"
Because Shannon, that's right.
And she was like, "Oh,
oh no, yeah, no."
There was like this physical reaction, like what just happened to me.
I think that's a great pivot into today's topic of conversation of the power of consistency, but the importance of mixing it up from time to time, right?
Yeah.
Which is fun as a coach, I have to say, because I've gotten to coach people I never get to coach, and it has been great learning for me. And a good learning experience for them to
Yeah.
see how somebody else responds. But I've gotten to know people that I have not spent much time with, and it has been a blast.
Yeah.
It really has.
Well, there's sort of it makes me think of this. Oh God, my trash is blowing away. Whatever. It got caught on the
cares
trash.
Mine
about
is too. Ah.
I'll pick it up later.
Wow.
Right, the artificiality of we say like, oh, I'm a 5 a.m. or I'm a 6 a.m. or I'm a 7 a.m. or it's like, but then you have somebody like Ryan Bruin or Jen Copples or even Allie who they're not going to be constrained to that label or to those. But I'm reading this book about debt and like money and stuff, and the guy tells this really bad Polish joke about there was this in the turn after, maybe it was after World War One or World War II or something, probably after World War One. Right at the border of Poland and Russia, you had these small little towns, and people were living there, and the Russian surveyors come in, and they're like measuring where the border is going to be and stuff, and the townspeople are like, so what's the deal? Are we Russian or are we Polish? Like, what are we? And the surveyors look at them and they go, you know what? You guys are 34 meters east of or west of the border, so you are Polish. And the town people, they just like, they're cheering, and the surveyors are like, what the heck? Why? And they're like, that means we don't have to experience the horrible Russian winters anymore. You get it? Did you lock up, or are you just not laughing? Oh, they were laughing.
That was the
That was a
longest
really-
setup.
That was a really long pause. You guys.
Well, you froze for a minute.
Oh, I froze. You froze.
You
all
froze.
Froze. So we were waiting.
Right as you were getting to the punchline, it froze, and we're like, no.
And then when I told it, you guys were frozen, and I was like, "Ooh, this is painful."
Didn't land. No, it landed well. Nice job. Nice job.
Oh, that was funny. This is going to be This will be an interesting audio because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's probably recording on mine, but I don't know. I don't know how Zoom works.
I hope it's recording somewhere.
Yeah. I didn't hit record because it told me it's recording on yours.
Yeah,
so.
it's definitely recording on mine locally, but I have no backup. I did not start the GarageBand because it doesn't make any sense. So
There was a very sad puppy.
yeah,
face
that's a tough.
last week.
That's a tough. I mean, that's a gut punch. I've done that before, but
You
that
were
was
so funny too. I mean,
yeah, I believe it.
It's like Academy Award winning.
I think so.
Don't you think?
I think
Or
so.
a potty award? Was it not a potty? What? There are
Making up your own award show.
Definitely not as good as this week.
Never mind.
Waddies?
I don't know.
No,
I'm making it up.
That's the
That's
great.
nice. But yeah, but
It's
seriously,
been a long morning. Shelley's tired.
that's what happens when you coach 10 classes in a row.
Yeah. She was funny. She came in this morning and she had her water bottle over here and her bag and her shoes. And she was just like lumbering to her square. I'm like, Shell, you okay today? Like she just like it was
pathetic.
I was like, you
Has,
okay? And she's like, I'm so tired.
Have your
She's like, I'm
sessions
just so tired.
have your sessions with Mary been basically just you sitting on a bench?
No,
Go ahead,
no sessions this week.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
We're off this week. She's away, which is unfortunate. And then tonight our kids cancel because they've got 7-on-7 practice. So my day is actually
There you go.
much.
So this is
easier.
it. Yeah. This will be it for.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, good.
She's doing awesome.
It's all
She's doing
good.
great. She's
Nice.
awesome.
We had 2 drop-ins today. We had a full class. I mean, there has been a lot.
And they were so easy to remember their names because it was Zach and Nicole. So close.
Oh, all right.
Jack and Nicole.
Where were they
Zach and
visiting
Nicole.
from?
Rhode Island, just south of Providence,
Yeah.
on the
All right.
water.
There you go.
Yeah, they're down here. I think they're sailing today, and then they're going to hit some parks and stuff over on the Eastern Shore the next few days.
And then they're coming back
gonna
through, and
swing
I
back
think
on
they'll
the
be
way
back.
through.
They wanted to come back.
Yeah,
Fun.
Way out.
they're a nice couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Seemed relatively fit. They did all
Yeah,
right? They did all
yeah,
right?
they were a little
Like
fit.
CrossFitters.
Yeah, no issues there.
Yeah.
Had TJ in this week, and did you know that? TJ has chickens? Did you know that they have chickens at their house? They raise chickens.
Are you setting up a joke right now, or is this for real?
Just look at her face.
I'm just trying to tell you about her chickens.
Okay.
Jeez. So you don't see her on Facebook. You haven't seen pictures of her chickens because they're
No.
like growing into full-fledged chickens. She's letting them out in the yard now. And one of them is like crazy smart. It can count its own eggs. It's a mathematician.
You almost made it. She almost made it.
I can't
Almost.
do it. I can't.
I was like,
It's like you choked. It's like you choked on your own spittle.
I know it's scary.
You did drool a little bit.
I did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You
It's
know what you
it's
call
a
them?
mathematician.
Magic? Yeah. Hold on.
What do you call him?
You know, yeah, Jack. You know what you call a magician that can't do magic?
Ian.
Ian.
Good
That's
one.
a- that's a
I had to
se-
think about that
Yeah.
one. That took a little
This
process.
doesn't
See the
count though.
smoke?
This is
That was some
That's not
smoke.
count. I
That was
thought
some
it was
smoke coming out of our ears right there.
Did you see
Yeah.
that? I had to really think about that.
I think when
Oh.
we get to the like making Jack laugh, I think we definitely need you to like fill up your mouth with beverage because that's going to be the
Spit take.
yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you've got to keep it controlled. You've got to.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't decided what the stakes are
No, we haven't.
if we win.
Jeez.
So we'll get there.
I don't know. I think Jack just spilled on himself.
It's dripping. There's a lot of moisture.
Oh, don't say that. It was moist in the gym this morning.
Moist.
Humid. Very humid.
Very
here.
moist. Here
So much
today.
this week. So much nicer though. Last week was like oppressive.
The door
So-
fixed, or is it still busted?
Yeah.
Doors fixed. Yeah.
Doors fixed.
Good.
Doors fixed. It's coming up now nice and smooth. No clicking. No banging.
What was
Good.
the other thing that was broken? That's
The
fixed?
TV.
TV.
TV's
He
fine.
fixed the TV.
Just need a new HDMI. That's working fine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
You
easy
can come
enough.
home anytime. We fixed all the things we broke.
Cool.
Oh, except that one thing. He'll see it. He'll see it. It'll be fine.
We didn't break anything else.
The,
Wait, we
the
still got
rig's the rig's not there anymore. Oh, we sold that. We didn't want to do pull-ups anymore.
yeah.
They're dumb.
We did a lot of that yesterday. A lot of that. What else?
Well, let's go back to the kind of coaching, the coaching thing where you get to see different people. Sorry, we're like all over the place today, but this is fun. It's kind of like catching up with Jack. And
Look at
And
him how
Jack
relaxed he is. Look at
so
him.
have you? Well, yes, that's a stupid question. You've been working out while you're up there.
Yeah, actually, almost every day.
Have you?
I do something. I did yesterday's. I did it with dumbbells, doubled the number went like half more. So like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 the first time through, but I have a set of rings. So I did ring pull-ups which were miserable. And then 12, 10, 9, 6, 3, whatever, so with the front squats, which were also significantly harder than expected with the 50-pound dumbbells, and then the deads 18, 15, 12,
Wow.
9, 6, 3, and then the gymnastics moves were V-ups with the front squats, and then pike handstand push-ups with the deadlifts, all, and then so the number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12, 10, blah blah blah, 18, 15, such, and then whatever time was left, Todd and I did it, time capped. Todd of Stonehenge Golf, the original sponsor of
Cheese
this.
curds.
Yeah, cheese curds and craft beers and indoor golf. Whatever time we 25-minute time capped it, whatever was left, either 100 burpees or you got time capped instead of the mile run. That was miserable.
That sounds horrible.
It was probably one of the hardest workouts I've done in a long time.
Oh,
That one, so that one I think is a great, like, kind of talking about coaching and coaching different people, and because like we have our classes and we know our athletes, and that's one there wasn't a lot of time to kind of like play around and figure stuff out.
Get the weight, yeah.
Build the barbells, like to get the gymnastics moving. So it's definitely one where it's like, if it's your class that you know and you kind of know your people pretty well, like you can pretty quickly be like, you're doing knee raises, you're doing V-ups, go and do your toes to bar, like especially with the gymnastic movements.
holy cow.
And so that was one where it's like I ran over every class. And I'm hitting my spots. And then it's just kind of, well, I'll tell you, the first time I misjudged how long it would take people.
The stimulus with the write up, and because I'm cheating because I'm getting to do them. I'm doing it at like 9:30 most mornings, maybe a little bit earlier, but I'm getting to see all 3 morning classes, and I know John usually hits his marks, and Joan runs a little long sometimes, but you know, the general consensus should have been 8 to 10 minutes. So 3-ish minutes for for each of the couplets. So 9 minutes sweet spot. Give them 10 to 12 minutes for the run. Everybody should be in that 18 to 22 range. I look at John's first time and it's like 23, 24. Like everyone was in that like, and I looked at like John went like 18 something for the first. I was like, holy crap. And so, nobody went that heavy. Like that one, it's weird. I think sometimes Pat and Taz, that's one thing they do a lot of stuff well. And I'm not saying they don't do this well, but that's actually one thing I don't think they do as well as we normally do, which is they don't guesstimate when it's like a task priority, what the average person will finish at. And I'd be curious, they don't have like, there's no shared sort of everybody who's around the world doing warm up and workout WODs, what the sort of what the time is across, right? So we only have our very small isolated population to go off of, but I would say we're either 10 to 15% faster than what they estimate, or like 10 to 15% slower than what they estimate.
I would love to have access to a composite of what other people are seeing in their gyms, because I felt like, there was not a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, their AMRAP stuff is usually spot on though. Like when they say it's going to be like 4 to 6 rounds. Yeah.
46 rounds.
Come on.
Too much.
Every single time. Like that is like, and I don't know, maybe if that's a function of it's just easier with AMRAPs. You know what I mean? Because you can kind of like design them to be like, this is going to take a minute and a half to 2 minutes, and but with rounds for time, maybe it's a harder target to hit or something.
And that's where, because they said with that write-up for yesterday is like, be done with the first part around 10 minutes. Like people should be finishing around like anywhere from 15 to 20, give or take, right? Yeah. And they even mentioned too, like, don't be afraid to challenge yourself a little bit more in the movements because it's a smaller rep scheme.
Right.
That's exactly what I did with 5 a.m. It was like, I was like, okay, we are not doing a more challenging like movement. Like, so, and then it was just kind of, the build, like I cut back on the building. It was just trying to hit that spot. And but I'd always say that was if anything, a fun experiment. And I guess like building that presence as a coach a little bit more, like you have your athletes that and you take liberties and knowing, so you can say this and this. It's like now here's some people that like I kind of know, but like everyone's on this different path and I'm not used to seeing them. And so it's not as simple as,
it makes me think of the level 2. I mean, one of the things they stress is, that's a good, and this isn't, I'm sure the same thing would happen to any of us, and so this isn't a slight on you. This is the perfect example of why you should try to coach other people that you're not comfortable with, because it reminds you that in the end, following the methodology of the CrossFit coaching system is more important than coaching towards the athlete. So, like I know that Mike Batista is going to struggle with the depth of his squat because of some of the things he's dealing with some injuries and whatever. But you don't know that as his coach in that moment. So you're going to be relentless on him for the depth of his squat. And so I would normally be like, he's dealing with it, so let him go a little heavier. And if he's partial squatting, whatever. In the long run, that's detrimental to him as an athlete because I've gotten comfortable with him as the coach. Whereas you would be like, dude, why are you only squatting halfway? Take shit off the bar. Like that's stupid. Yeah. And so the same thing, like we should treat every class as there should be the general warm up. There should be a skill portion that allows the coach in the general warm up identify what skills is appropriate for this athlete to hit the stimulus of the workout for today, regardless of what their background is or their history is. And so in that, not knowing the athletes in a sense should almost drive you to be more on time, because you're not, it's not right. It doesn't, because I've just described like the hardest thing to do in the world as a CrossFit coach, which is why the level 2 coaches say, oh, you think you got this thing wired? Here, let's layer on another thing. And it's simple. It's really simple. Follow the same plan every time. Just because that's simple doesn't mean like that's quite possibly the hardest thing to do, because you want to personalize it for the person. You want to make their experience unique. But it's like, well, the uniqueness will show up inside of the, not rigidity, but the consistency of the structure. So yeah, that's a really cool. It's a really cool experiment of reminding yourself to trust the class plan.
Yeah.
Whereas I get used to being like, I'm gonna modify it here, and then by the time I get to 7 a.m., I've modified it like 3 times. I'm like, oh shit, what did we do in 5 a.m. again? I forget. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just go for a 400-meter run, and we'll start when you get back.
Yeah.
Well, and you know,
It's a viable warm up.
we had 3 gymnastics moves with all of the, you know, scales and progressions for those. We had weightlifting at 3 different weights. We had I mean, there were a lot of moving pieces and parts.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because it took Todd and I a really long time. It took me a really long time to warm up, and Todd was just kind of tagging along, and he was like, "Are we done yet?" And I wasn't. I was kind of following the class plan, but I wasn't. He's like, I forgot how long you really can't, because he's been doing most of the stuff. He doesn't go to the box anymore. The box he used to go to, you know, de-affiliated and stuff, and so he just does it in his garage. And it's and I to me, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, Nicole always makes fun of me. I do really long warm-ups and stuff. But as I'm thinking, as you guys are saying that, like, that's just me doing it by myself, and it still took us like 25, 30 minutes to get going. You know what I mean? And we're just doing it in the, you know.
And that's minus like any instruction.
Exactly. Like totally. And I said,
and you weren't hurting cats.
No, it's exactly what I mean. So yeah. So as you say that, I can imagine that's like to do that one. If athletes aren't finishing it in under 20 minutes, that is a hour and 10, hour and 15-minute class, because you've now tacked on an extra 5 minutes to do the workout, an extra 5 minutes to warm down, the extra 5 minutes, and you just bought yourself more time than 60 minutes. So that's interesting. But still, it comes back then, even more importantly, to when you see one like that, to be like, okay, which is probably why you came in like a freaking bottle rocket, Eric. Of like, we got a lot to do and there's no room to mess around. But that wasn't that day. Yeah.
That's every day. So that was fun. It was one of those with the class plan, and then if anything, it was like a great lesson and the reminder of like, you can know your athletes, you can know what they're good at, you can know what they're not good at, but like, stick with this is what it should be.
The relentlessness of good movement is good movement. And so I know you've been my athlete for 3.5 years, and I've gotten used to your, you know, shitty half partial squat, but you know, we're gonna go back to the basics and be like, nope, air squatting today until you get to full depth every single time. That would make people happy, right? They would appreciate that.
I think so.
I'm sure.
Well, and I did a post on it yesterday, but it also, I think what was another thing that kind of helped too was so the warm up and workouts coaching challenge was like, you know, write down your class, and then like write down one thing that was like a win for each one on that day. And so yesterday was a great chance to like, okay, there's 19 different things on this workout. Let's like focus on one thing, and maybe that is like the movement of the barbell, or maybe it is like it might even be just like, we scaled that perfectly. Like, you know, you moved, you weren't standing around. And so that was a good one. If anything, at the same time of, I may have taken liberties at first, like it was struggle. I didn't take liberties because I didn't know them as well. But then at the same point, it was creating much more presence with each individual person, instead of it just kind of feeling like you were hurting cats.
Right.
And so that was, I think that was a good like reminder and exercise, and just kind of, I think, refreshing kind of take in running your class. It's all these little things. Like, we do all these things every single day, and we have this toolbox full of all these things to give people the best experience possible. But sometimes some things kind of fall to the bottom of that toolbox, and you need something to, I don't know, I need something to like trigger to remind me to dig that thing out of the bottom and use it a little bit more. So kind of like my locker closet. So
I agree. I found myself trying new things just because there were people I didn't use the same cues that I always use 24,000 times the class. I had an experiment. We'll see how this plays out. So we had jumping lateral hops on, what day was that?
Monday.
And for some athletes, some near my age, perhaps, but athletes have a hard time jumping over objects, especially something they think is going to roll and cause them to roll their ankle and be injured. And so I think there is comfort in jumping over a lateral line on the ground for the rest of their lives. And I wanted to figure out a way to try to get them to move over something three-dimensional that wouldn't be scary, because they weren't ready. They wouldn't do a dumbbell yet.
Okay. And PVC pipes that's actually a bad idea.
Yep,
Yeah,
but they
Because
roll.
they roll.
They roll. So we rolled up towels.
Good. Or band.
not-
You could do a band.
I didn't even think about a band. A band would have worked, but they rolled over. So it gave them
That was
the
good.
idea. There's something three-dimensional. Still, you're going to feel it if you hit it. So it was a teeny tiny step forward, teeny tiny,
Yeah.
but it was three-dimensional.
That's a good move.
So
There's one bite of the elephant.
tiny bite of the elephant.
That's
Tiny.
right.
So
Oh, there's an elephant joke in there and I can't remember what it is. Dang it.
The one if what do you call an elephant mated with a rhino?
Oh, I remember what it was. No, go ahead. You go. What? Yeah.
Yeah. What do you call an elephant mated with a rhino?
I don't know.
Elephino.
Do you hear what the elephant? Do you hear what the elephant said when he went to the nudist beach and he saw the first guy on the beach?
No.
How do you smell anything through that?
That's a good one.
Oh, I'm going to write these down for next week.
That was a good
And I
one.
think I screwed that up. I think I added too much stuff. I couldn't remember the context of how an elephant is seeing a naked man and talking to him. I couldn't remember how to get there.
There was a
So I
lot
kinda-
of stuff going. but-
Yes, I kind of may have forced that square peg into a round hole, but
See, I want to say that's what she said, but I can't because I think that's it.
You already said it.
yeah.
Sure I
But
did.
but in a behind the fourth wall context. So
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I didn't actually say it.
That's like saying
Nobody
no
actually heard
offense,
it.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
No
like-
offense, sir, but you're an asshole.
Yeah.
right?
Wait, you just said I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Call me an
Wait, I
asshole.
said-
But I
Yeah,
said no offense.
I said no offense, so
Yeah.
you can't be offended.
Which always makes me think of The Office when Michael declares bankruptcy.
I declare
Bankruptcy. That's not how it works. You can't just declare it.
Declare it. Good.
So what are you missing about coaching this week, Jack?
Nothing. I mean, not
Okay.
yet. Like that
Good break.
takes, yeah. I think with the nature in which I sort of maybe not to get too philosophical, but live my life is like I don't have a problem letting go of any of that stuff. And I mean, like I love everybody and I love being around them and stuff. But at the same time, I mean, you know how this is, Shelley, right? You spend the first 40 years of your life leaving every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And, saying goodbye to everybody. I'm okay walking away.
Yeah. You've had a lot of practice.
Yeah, and that's not like a cold, heartless sense of like. At some point, you're like, I kind of miss that. But like, we actually saw friends. We met him in Virginia Beach, and then we were all in Hawaii together. At the same time, Naughty OD. He was actually a Navy musician, a band, and Nicole and the Kim met through like it was like Nicole's freaking life-saving group. There were like 4 of them, 5 of them that all had kids about the same age, and they just randomly met at Mount Trashmore for like what, and that was like it like saved all. And so they still have like their little circle and they text and stuff, and then we'd bounce into each other at various times, as we kind of bounced around different duty stations, but no. All different communities, all different, and one of them wasn't even Navy. It was her husband was a professional hockey player who was on the management team for the Blackhawks. So,
They can come back.
are you guys back? Hello. Oh, I can still hear you. Oh, we're back. I got you. Are you back?
We're back.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went to lunch with them. He's now retired. They live just outside of Newport, and And yeah, it's like you pick right back up with old friends. You know what I mean? But there's moments where you're sort of like, I wonder how so-and-so is doing, or, yeah, that was such a good time. But, you know, life moves on and you're here where you are. And so in that sense,
Well,
no, like I don't, there's nothing
well,
about.
and that was really, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's really an unfair question because when you're on vacation, you're there for a reason. It's because you need to recharge and to do something different. So,
but that's sort of what I mean too, is in the sense of like, I don't wake up every morning and be like, oh God, I gotta go coach too. Like I'm fine waking up. Like I don't have to hit the snooze button every morning to get out of bed. Like my alarm goes off, I get up. Most mornings I actually don't even, I'm up before my alarm. Get up, down, back, and you know, it's the process of the routine is not the thing that makes me either dread or miss the day-to-day of the coaching. And I love coaching the classes, like when I coach them. I know for me as an individual, it's the unexpected and perceived blatant disregard of the routine, both by myself and forces outside of me, that is the personal trigger. And that's the part that is at 44 years old come to realize, like, oh, well, that's just ridiculous. Like that's as big of a much of bullshit as any other story anybody wants to tell themselves, right? Like that's a very selfish, narcissistic viewpoint of the world. Like everyone's out to get me. Why is everybody on? It's a scene in like a movie. He's like driving a car or something. Everybody's in the way or something. I forget exactly, right? Like that's the person who's driving their car. Like, God, why is everybody in my way? Like, okay, buddy.
that's the common denominator here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So, no, I get, so in that sense, I guess, yeah, I miss the classes, but not really. I mean, clearly, like this is fun to.
You cannot lose sleep over it. But
no, because I, still getting up at 5 in the morning because my eyes open and the dogs are like with their heads on the bed, like, oh, you're awake. Oh, do you want to feed us now? Can you feed us?
Well, I asked because when I was gone for about, I don't know, 8-9 days, it was probably 5 or 6 days before I thought, I really need to see what they're doing. And I'd start getting the sugar water and having to look at what everybody was doing, what their comments were and how they responded to the workout.
But I guess I checked within like a day, because you know what I mean? Like it's such an integral part of my life that I want to see like what people get for scores. And plus I wrote the stuff. Like I didn't make up the workouts, but I modified them and I'm like, oh, I wonder how this one played out. Oh, this is kind of cool. Because it's sort of like, it's like making dinner and then not asking how people liked it, right? Like, oh, did you like that lemon I put in the chicken this time? Because I changed it up a little bit. It's almost as bad as like when you make something and then somebody's just like, do you not have a sense of smell? Because that's the thing. And I always told my students that too when I was teaching at the academy. Like, I don't give a shit if you love the book or hate the book. I just want a reaction. Apathy destroys me. So if I actually told them, I was like, sometimes I actually pick a work that I know you're going to hate because I hate it. And so I want you to hate it just to practice having a fucking reaction. Like if I ask a question and it's this, that's the worst. Like, that's just like, you know what? I recorded myself coaching this class. Here you go. I'm going to Starbucks. I'll see you guys in 45 minutes to help clean up. Right? Like, because that's about what's happening right now.
But I just as a avid 5 a.m. I do want to say, don't mistake.
I'm over that. Like, I understand. I know you guys now at this point.
We're not awake.
Well, that's why I don't ask you questions anymore. I just tell you what the fuck to do.
We're so happy.
You are like, that's seriously, like, that's what they want. 6 a.m. kind of wants some engagement. They want to initially have engagement, but then in the end, they just want to be told what to do. 7 a.m., all bets are off because you don't know who's going to be in that class.
Yeah.
so fun. It's been so much fun.
That's where I think it's I'm very much like when I'm here and I need like I'll leave at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to come here and coach. And my mind was like, oh, I don't know if I have like it's that whole like I guess it's the extrovert in me that once I get here and once people start getting here, I'm like, let's do this. It's that kind of like I'm dragging, and then when I get here, I'm so excited to get here. And then when I leave, very much like and I think I'm on vacation the same way. I don't miss it, but I'm also not thinking about it. Like I'm not here, so I'm not thinking about it. When I'm here, I'm not really thinking about home because I'm not there, so I'm not thinking about it. It's like
The goldfish.
it's
You're the Ted Lasso. You're the happiest animal in the world.
Yes.
right? And it's very much like that object
10-second
permanence thing,
memory.
right? Like if I don't see it,
It's not there.
it's not
It's
there.
not there.
And so that's kind of how my brain works. And then, but it's also like when I am here though, like that's why I think the 5 a.m. Like I'm glad you guys just kind of let me roll, because like I'll probably just keep until someone gives me some sort of reaction. Because I tell Meg the same way. I'm kind of like a kid where, like, don't ignore me, because you're only going to make it worse. Like, humor me. Like, give me a reaction, and I'll move on. Don't ignore me. And that's the best thing you can do. And even it was just like even just give me like that's all I need. I need some sort of reaction, I think is the best way to say it. And it doesn't even have to be.
That's good to know.
It doesn't have to be like I can take criticism. I prefer sugar-coated criticism.
And you crave just blatant not validation. That's not the right word, but I had something in mind. Yeah.
It kind of is.
Even
Like
if it's a lie, I don't care. Just validate me.
Yeah, I need you to validate me. I need your approval. I need you.
That's it. Just even if it's false approval, that's even better.
I just need you to like me. And whatever I did that made you not like me, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And
Like,
to be honest, I don't even want to know about it. Just eat it. Just eat
Yeah,
that and swallow
right?
it.
Like before you give me a criticism, is it going to do anything? Like, is it constructive? Because if you're not telling me for any particular reason, then I need you to move on from it. Like, so like it's when I get home after working out and Meg tells me I smell, I know I smell. I just worked out. You telling me that is doing nothing, because I'm going to take a shower in like 10 minutes anyway. Like that's already on the agenda. And so it does
Take a
cut
shower
me.
at the gym before you go home.
Yeah, but when it's humid down here, I can't dry off.
It is.
And then in the
hot.
winter,
It is
it's
hot,
so
man.
cold.
True. It's only about a 2-week window on either side.
Yeah.
Sometime in May and once in November.
That's
One
not
day in
good.
November. Yeah, a week, 1 week in May, 1 day in November. That's it. It's the only time Eric can shower at the gym.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So I'm all for like, give me the shit.
Well, this is good. So Shelley, you'll bill us. Shelley will bill us for the therapy session.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well done.
Take care of that.
Couples
Yeah.
therapy there. I like it.
So
Well done.
it's good. All right. Well, I think speaking
All
of,
because I went on vacation for a couple days.
yeah.
We've all learned so much about ourselves.
You know, it's funny too. I get down here really early. Like I'll get down here at like 4:15, give or take, if not earlier. It's just like to mentally, because I get that almost like anticipatory anxiety, like the night before, like don't sleep through your alarm. Don't sleep through your alarm. Like I have 3 alarms set and I wake up before all of them just to make sure that like I don't sleep in, because it's a big deal. And then I get down here and because I know like you and I do things right, like it's very no. And I want to give the 5 a.m. It's kind of what we were talking about last week. Like there's 8 plates here, there's 4 plates here, there's 4 plates. Like there's an experience, and you want that experience to be consistent with every single class. So if 6:15 doesn't put the plates away, or if the coach at 6:15 doesn't put the plates back away right, then 5:15 is fumbling around trying to find the right plates. And so it's 2 different experiences, and you don't want that. And so I know I am not Jack, but I want them to have as good of an experience as if Jack was here.
Right. Like the only variable that should change is you and how you deliver the product rather than the product change.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm coaching, like I'm not changing anything that I would do with 5:15 and 6:15. It's just those are my classes, And again, I think it goes back to that, like knowing your athletes.
And those people are awake.
And they're also awake. It's a different kind of awake.
You got to bring a different energy to those classes though too, because when I do
Yeah.
coach them from time to time, you know, the once or twice a year that I coach them. But I'm actually looking forward when you go away, buddy. If Soph and Courtney can't cover some of them, I think there are still some holes in August.
Yeah.
Because I do like coaching them, because you gotta. There's still a similar sort of like easing into it a little bit.
Yeah.
But then there is a different level of, if you leave them to their own devices in the evening, they'll just meander. And like, do you know what I mean? Like, but they still want to do the workout. But it's kind of like, well, no, because you guys took 45 minutes to get your barbells out. Like, class is over. Go home. And they're like, no, I don't have anything. But it's also because they don't have anything. I mean, they got stuff to go home to, but that, like, you know,
Sorry.
They don't-
Say hi, Soph.
they don't have anything to, like, they don't have work to rush to or kids to drop off at school. It's sort of like, well, if I start dinner 45 minutes later than I expected, like,
They're on the wind down part of the day.
yeah. And so you got to still bring the rhythm, but it's got to be delivered with a significantly, it's almost like you got to ramp it up, but then leave enough time to kind of let them ramp back down. Whereas the morning classes, it takes a little bit to ramp up, but once you go, you can exit out accelerating. Do you know what I mean? Because they're on their way out to the day. And it's sort of, so again, as you said, like, you're not different. You're still coaching it the way Eric and Shelley coach it, but you have to be aware of the energy required to make sure that product is received correctly. And it's a fun challenge. Like, it's a really, it's an interesting, I never thought about it that way either. I've never kind of expressed it, but that's what I feel when I coach the evening classes is it's there's a fluidity required that is not as much required in the mornings, where the mornings is more of like just keep paddling, like just keep pushing, and they will eventually catch up.
And I feel like the evenings, it's there's the meandering, but it's also like it's almost this people are just trying to unload at this point.
Yeah, meandering is not the right word. That wasn't the right word. I like that better.
But I get what you're going. It's just
yeah.
So they're gonna, they're two people are walking to get their barbells together. They're talking about their day as they get there. They're talking about the way on they get back. They set their bars down. They talk for a second, then they go. And so it is this like.
And it's sort of, if you take the morning crew and the evening crew energies, and you mesh it into a perfect storm.
Which class would that be?
Oh my God.
My island.
Your island.
I love you, 9:30. But oh my God.
Yeah.
I know.
So
They're all
so
coming from.
Right. So some of, 5:15, 6:15, not a lot of showing up on time, kind of on their own schedule. 9:30. Not really in a rush to finish or get in moving. 5 a.m. Don't really respond when you ask questions or whatever. Have their own agenda.
Yeah.
I resemble that remark.
I love 9:30.
I do too. And I have learned so much from them.
Yeah,
So
because
I do.
again, the product is still the product, and they want the product. It's not their job to figure out how they're supposed to receive it.
Exactly.
Right? That's our job. That's what we get to see rep after rep is like, oh, okay, being mean doesn't work for this group. Being mean doesn't work for any group. You know what I mean? Being a little more heavy-handed works for 5 a.m., right? Like telling you what to do, how long you have to do it, what we're going to do. You know what I mean? Like that, because you don't want to think. You are unable to think.
Right.
Yeah.
Till about 5:40.
Yeah.
Doing that at 5:15 p.m. God, when did Joe and Amber usually come to class?
6:15. Yeah.
Doing that at 6:15 will get you this face.
Yeah.
What's his fucking problem?
Yeah. Yep. Even I get that sometimes. I'm like, what did I do? I just say go get a barbell.
Yeah, right. Like,
I just said, Joanne, can you put your shoes on, please? Like it's 6:30.
I'll put them on when I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And I love them for it. Like seriously,
Yeah.
like that's
It's like
it
6:30.
reminds you like, oh, you can put a nicer question mark at the end of that request and getting much better response. And I'm like, oh, look at that. There is a wider spectrum of personalities available within each of us that can be tried out over and over again with these classes and get a better result of delivering the same product.
Yeah.
And that's what I think teaching these different classes has brought out.
Yeah.
Because
We
you
have
study different.
Yeah, we have more in us than we think. And that goes for us and them. The difference being it's our job to stimulate that, not theirs.
Yeah.
Our responsibility to remember like, okay, look, it's Tuesday, it's not Monday. Tuesday, 5 a.m. Monday, 5 a.m. was having a hard time. It's not Monday anymore, it's Tuesday. Meet them. We gotta be able to have the flexibility to meet the classes where they are. Yeah. And that's the warm up. That's sort of, you gotta watch as they come in. You gotta be listening a lot better. I find I have to listen a lot better with all those senses from the very beginning and read it, and then be willing when you're wrong to go like, oh, I misread this one.
Yeah.
What was that, Shelley?
Yeah.
That part has been really fun. And it's been
agreed. It's what you can imagine, like why those 10, there are affiliates now that are almost 20-year affiliates.
Yeah.
The ones 2000, so the first affiliates I think were 04, 05. And a lot of them still, not a lot of them, but a couple of them still exist. The one in Bellevue up in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So 21, so they'll probably be coming up on there are a couple 15-year affiliates, and I don't think there's any 20-year affiliates yet, but there are some 20 years they've been at it. Same owners, some of the same coaches. Like you look at Nicole Christensen at Roots. She's been at this a long time. How? I think it's this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's still knowing, like you still have to, as long as you've been doing this, like you know what you know, and there's still plenty to figure out.
Always.
Revisiting the basics.
Yeah, it's actually this week's blog a little bit with the series with my dad. Kind of the idea of like golf is such a simple game. Like it's seriously as simple as it gets, but it's in that simplicity that makes it so hard because you get so distracted. It's the Glassman, right? The virtuosity. We get distracted with the new club, the new kind of driver, the better shoes. What kind of pants am I going to wear? What about my shirt? Is it wicking or non-wicking? Like, dude, you can't hit your fucking 7-iron. Put the rest of the clubs away. You're not ready yet, right? Like, don't worry about whether you're hitting from the blue tees or the yellow tees. You're not even holding the club right. Like, should I have 115 or 105 pounds on the bar? You don't squat to depth. Put the fucking bar away, right? Like it doesn't matter. So like it's simple. It's real simple, but that's not easy.
I was gonna say simple, not easy.
Yeah.
You were lifting well today.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Which class? What class did you go to? 6?
6 a.m.
Nice.
Well, I was so glad because I did it with Jose, and Shelley and I were talking. I'm having fun with Jose.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's
You want to right? You get feedback from him immediately.
Right?
Oh.
And he is thinking.
He's always asked, like, that's the thing. And I may not always agree with how he's reacting to something I'm saying, but I don't care. He doesn't care. And I don't care. I want to know what his reaction is. Cause then I know like, okay, let's go a different direction. Like, yeah, I'll take it.
Well, and I'm having fun with him because he and I are now developing a little banter. So like I hit a set of my clean and jerks, and I set it down and I sat down on the plates, waiting to do my next set. And he came walking over and he's like, okay, so I know this is confusing. So this is a barbell. It's for lifting, not sitting. So if you need me to show you how this done, and I'm like, all right, get out of here. But he was trash talking during the workout, but
he had a good time.
Yeah, we're having fun, but I'm having fun with Jose.
You'll appreciate this. One of the kind of the nuggets, the Pat Ryan nuggets. I was telling Shelley the other day, Eric, is one of his tricks, my dad would always say, you know, you're like 3 or 4 holes into a round of 18 with somebody, and you maybe played with them before, maybe you haven't, but maybe, and in golf, everything's a competition. So, you know, maybe, and you could apply this to like lifting too, you know, not that if you and I are squatting together, like it's not really a competition, but of course it's competition. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna,
So you're gonna push. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
so on the golf course, you know, somebody goes and the guy hits this like amazing drive. You're like, man, that's really fucking far. And you go, dude, Eric, your hands at the top of your swing are so fast. It is really, really impressive. It's awesome, dude. And from that point forward, you will not hit a straight shot. Like you will be shanking, you'll duff, you're going to hit into the ground, and you won't know why, because you're going to always be thinking about your hands. Well, my hands are moving fast. I don't understand. He said my hands are moving fast, and and it's a win-win. Now I know exactly what I just did. I totally did that on purpose to fuck you up and get you thinking and mess with your game. But nobody's going to ever accuse you of that because you complimented
It was
the
a
person.
compliment.
Yeah.
And it's complimenting golf, like fast hands, the fast turnover, like that's like pro level stuff. And so now whether my compliment was accurate or not, whether it was meant malicious or not, like good luck proving it. So like in an Olympic lift, like, dude, you straighten your knees so fast when you're jumping that barbell up. It is so cool to see, right? Next thing you know, the person's going to be shooting their ass up.
Yeah.
Bar is going to be out in front. They're going to be pulling early because they're going to be like, straightening my knees. Like, wait, what does that mean? Like, right? Like,
so like it's so funny because like it's when you're coaching and you do that, like you go to someone, you say the exact same thing, like really nice job pulling under the bar, you know, or something like that, and then you watch them do their next lift and it's like everything else went to shit. It's like,
yeah. Well,
right, now we got to work on this again.
So like that's the part where, as a coach, I've tried. It made me think of like Jose. He was messing with you, but like I don't think quite knows how to effectively mess with somebody yet in Olympic weightlifting. That was just straight up like just messing with you, like messing with you. There is a technique. There's an art to it to really get into somebody's head, and that's the thing about my dad is like he played at some of the highest levels where he's a world-class like trash talker.
Yeah.
Like quiet, sort of like, you know, subdued trash talker. But that, as a coach, we tend towards, like, especially early on, like cheerleading, right? And so we think like complimenting something on something they did well is going to be appreciated. It's actually not appreciated, right?
Yeah.
Like that's sort of you're not in the business there to compliment. You kind of need to say like, hey, you're pulling under the bar quickly, but I need you to jump harder before you pull under, right? Like now you complimented still, but you gave them something to actually focus on, which will improve the movement. And because I've been thinking about that too, right? It's all in the game, but is it really if it doesn't effectively make the person move better?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is the good way to give me criticism is give me that little like,
actionable.
Your hair looks great today.
Yeah.
Your lips
stunk. Your
hair looks so good.
But more would be, Eric, I love the way your hair makes your ears really stay close, or like something. I love the way. I love the way your hair just perfectly tucks right behind your ears when you style it that way. He will come in every day for like the next month. Well, first off, I won't be able to stop from touching his ears, but he'll come in and like the hair will just be like up, right? It'll be like I tried for like 4 hours this morning to get my hair to tuck behind my ears, and it won't tuck behind my ears, and so it'll just be like, I mean, it'll just look like it's just coming. Like I can't do it any.
Oh my God, you look like us at 5 a.m.
Oh my God. That was about what Shelley looked like.
I did.
He'll go to Sam. Just shave it off. Just shave it off.
Get rid of it all.
Take my ears when you do too, please.
Richard, what's happening?
Nick will be like, Eric, what is wrong with me? They told me my hair was behind my ears and it was really good. I can't ever get it back to the same place. That's the worst thing I ever it was.
That's the way to do it.
There you go.
Good stuff.
There it
Cool.
is.
All right, cool. Well, let's close this thing out. Let's try and make Jack laugh. What do you say?
Okay,
You
you
got a
first.
couple ready?
I got one
Cool.
ready.
Jack, you ready? Yeah. So take a big sip. All right. This is recycled from last week. I don't know if she's gonna laugh, but I think I've improved my.
You don't think she's gonna laugh? Have you told her?
I've
Have you
improved.
seen her?
Well,
have you seen her tell jokes? She's told
my
before?
delivery wasn't as good last time. Okay. All right. Jack, you want to see my impression of a German Shepherd?
Sure.
Okay, ready? Look at my sheep.
Look at my sheep.
Look at my sheep.
That's racist.
No, I'm German.
He's
I know.
German. And he's a shepherd.
I know, a German Shepherd. I got it.
I said when I saw it last week, I was like, I should have totally like done the green screen in the back and had sheep in the back.
Sheep behind you.
That was good. That was a good one. I like that. I'm actually going to tell that to Don, to my colleague Don.
Let me know how that goes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. You have to do the German accent though.
Of course.
Otherwise,
Yeah, otherwise it's worthless.
Yeah.
So, did you hear about Alec Baldwin's new movie? I was not
Oh.
Alec Baldwin. Who is it?
Oh, here it goes. She's done. She's out.
No. Whose movie was it?
I don't remember. I don't remember you told me this
I
one.
told you.
Brad Pitt.
Oh, that was Bruce Willis's new movie.
Oh, Bruce Willis's. Yeah.
Willis.
That's why I wasn't picking up on it.
Yeah, no, it's Bruce Willis. So he goes undercover in a retirement home for nuns, like an alt combat. He's undercover. There's some fraud, and I think there's some money laundering. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on, and so he's undercover in this combat home
You got it.
for nuns.
It's because I just can't imagine. I see her like.
Right? Like try not to pee yourself. Right?
It's. Do you even know what the title is?
Of course. Is it a working title?
It's called Old Habits Die Hard. It's not even a very. I got nothing.
It's funny when she was telling me that last week. I'm totally like buying it. It's like he has a new movie. Like, tell me more.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. I did not realize that she was telling me a joke, even though she was telling me a joke. It was
Yeah.
really. Like,
It was really good.
She kept it
Pulled it
together
off,
pretty
yeah.
well last week.
Almost the whole thing.
Almost the whole
And then I
thing.
couldn't remember the punchline. That's when I lost it.
I
Sorry.
think
Oh man.
there's something there to do it with Alec Baldwin to start and be like, but actually he backed out at the end, and I think they've got Bruce Willis lined up, and they named it Old Habits Die Hard. or
That's what I should have done.
Yeah,
would've
but
been
that
my
is way too much effort. You got
Yeah.
it with it. I
and
mean,
I
think
got
it's a
lost
way-
in it.
I think it's a way too. You know, Bruce Willis, like, it's got to be a Die Hard joke.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good setup there. That's
That
good,
is
Jack.
really good.
yeah, it's Shelley. What it is it's the extra like 5 seconds before the punchline, because you're not breathing. Like you
Literally
stop,
not.
like you
Yes.
stop breathing because you know if you're going to breathe, you're going to laugh, and you
Yeah.
can just see it moving up your chest into your throat, and then it's as soon as you open your mouth,
See, I can't.
That
and
was
it's
me when I did
awesome.
Beer Friend.
Like
Except that wasn't loud.
there's something there. You've got a stand-up career.
I'm gonna keep
waiting for
working.
you.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep working. I'm working on that and handstand push-ups. Those two
Handstand
things.
push-ups or stand-up. Yeah.
I see,
Not the stand-up, just being able to tell a joke.
I've always thought like maybe I should do stand-up comedy, but I'm just afraid people will laugh at me.
Boom, boom. Well, my gratitude's simple. It's you two. I appreciate your willingness to attempt to recreate the magic from last week. I feel like I got a glimpse of it, and a good taste is
Yeah.
that's a very hard thing. I would say almost the hardest thing to do is to recreate that type of magic. So thank you for making the effort and making me feel special to be a part of that.
It was special last week, wasn't it? It was magical.
Yeah.
We did what we could.
I wish I could pick a better word than magical. I need something that transcends magic.
Transcendent. Who's
Ethereal.
Transcendent.
Incendiary.
No, that's not the word. That's not the word.
I heard that from Almost Famous. Incendiary.
That's not it. Okay, I have a gratitude. I have had a really good time this week. It has been fun having Eric at 5. There's a lot going on at 5. Eric is fully awake. There's
Because he's been awake since 3:30 with Everett.
There's a lot going on, but it's been really fun. You've done a nice job.
Thank you.
You're
It's been
welcome.
fun.
And I don't have anything to follow up. That was just a
I
compliment.
appreciate it.
I'm not
Thank you.
giving-
There's
Good,
no
that's
joke
a compliment.
And
Validity.
Yeah.
I'm validated.
And the other thing is, I am so grateful to Drew and Soph, who show up on those Wednesday nights, excited and eager to coach those kids. And Wednesdays at 8 is a little bit of a tough window. I mean, if you go to bed at 9, 8
You ate
o'clock,
dinner like 3 hours ago.
yeah,
You're ready for bed.
it's bedtime. And it is so much fun and so rewarding. And I'm just really appreciate the effort they put in to show up and make it happen. And I love it. That's it.
Mine is Joe Leonard and Mr. Stumps. So they are both out of town this week and have dropped into boxes in the area that they're traveling. They both did. And Joe has before. Stumps has not done it before. And I know he was like,
Joe goes to Mississippi. Have they reported back to you? Like, are they texting you or something? Like,
yeah. So they both texted me, and Stumps hit me up the other day and was telling me he had a great time, and he said he feels like he represented Fairland's Bell. And I was like,
sure he did.
And I said, the hardest when you're traveling, like the hardest thing, when especially this is the only CrossFit gym you've been to, like,
yeah,
stepping into another gym, like, it's just, it's nerve wracking.
Yeah, because
you're like, they're gonna judge me, they're gonna judge me, or I'm gonna, like, I don't want, like,
well, especially Tim's been doing it for a while now, and so it's like, I'm sure inside of him there's that feeling of like, I should know how to do this, but he's only ever done it at one affiliate, so it's like, no, like there's so much variety the way affiliates run classes, so that's legit, that's scary. Like, sorry, so, I totally interrupted yours.
No, but it is, and like I said, that's Stumps' first time.
Good for him.
Where did he tell me he went? So he's at CrossFit Metro East.
Where's that?
In St. Louis.
Okay.
St. Louis. And then Mr. Joe Leonard, he is in where are they?
He's in Mississippi,
just
outside Pascagoula.
He's been to that one before, though.
No, it's a new box.
This is a new one.
Okay.
Because the one I think
I was gonna say, he's cheating. That's not a real drop.
No, it's a new box for him.
I think it's called Royal Coast CrossFit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But
fancy name.
But yeah, he hit me yesterday and said, CF WOD was fun this morning. This was yesterday. CF WOD was fun this morning. Once the coach/owner saw me move, I was the only guy in class that he said, okay, Joe, get a 45-pound bar and let's get started. Pretty awesome. So he was feeling pretty good. He said it was a fun workout. And he said after the class, he was teaching it. The guy was teaching a teenage girl soccer team, which reminded him of me, which was really cool. But he said, and the coach said he's pretty limber for a big guy. So Joe's gonna come back. His head is. We're gonna have to that garage door better not be broken because I don't think his head's gonna fit.
We'll be able to get in.
But
I'll get him like the first day. I'll be like, deeper in your squat.
Yeah.
Oh, man, all right, I'm back again.
But I love that. That is a big deal when you were brave enough to go to another affiliate.
It's hard.
That is awesome.
It's hard. So so for them, just being courageous, stepping outside of the box.
Oh yeah.
And hit another one. So they're awesome. And I'm excited that they hit me up and said like, hey, I went to this other gym. Like that's cool. That was fun too. I'm glad they did that. So
this is my only part. Somebody asked recently, total sidebar, about how's it been different when, since Lastman left, Rose has come in and stuff. And Eric and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago on one of the episodes of, there's that feeling of like, it's a little like, I'm just nervous of the corporate creep, right? Sort of the, like the foundations and the programming and sort of like, kind of the homogenization of the affiliate experience. But at the same token, I think all of those fears are unfounded. I think it's just going to be way too disassociated from sort of any sort of central homogenization, because affiliates are innately local and tribal. And right, so anything that is, we'll come back to the word, homogenous across different affiliates, that's not annoying, is actually welcoming and comforting. Do you know what I mean? That like we all speak the same language of WODs and AMRAPs, but like how you write the WOD, I think that will continue to stay the same, because the guy who owns the joint owned a freaking affiliate and he gets it. And the people he's brought on board are CrossFitters and they get it. And so what they're offering will continue to be supportive of that uniqueness and variability across affiliates, not detrimental to it. So I've had some time to think about it, but I like corporate from time to time, right? Like I like going to Starbucks and knowing that the nitro I get is going to be good, but then I like coming to Coffee Cup 2 or whatever the hell this place is called. And it's kind of fun. Anyway, I digress.
The flip side of that is the flip side of that is at 7 a.m. when we had the 2 drop-ins, man, those Fairwinds folks wrapped them in, told them all the places to go on the Eastern Shore.
Right.
Built
Like,
them up and sent them on their way.
Like the affiliate idea will continue to be sort of that nebulous third place. But really what it starts to become is CrossFitters know that if I'm new to an area, the first thing I find is the CrossFit box, because those are the people who would tell me where are the best places to go hike, what are the best restaurants to eat at, where's the best place to get my shoes, like all the things that matter to me in my life. I know a place, even if big picture, like at the affiliate ownership level, we feel a little bit like, yeah, some of the flexibility I used to have isn't there anymore. The experience of the people who come will never be lost because it is a gathering place. At heart, we're not selling yet. And at heart, we're not selling fitness. I mean, we are, but we're not. We're selling the experience of familiarity. We're selling the birthday picture. We're selling the birthday, the sense of everyone's going to remember who you are and what your kid did when they graduated.
Yeah.
That's what we're selling. Yeah.
Cheers. We sing that now. When people walk in, we sing that now.
What's that?
Something new we started when everybody knows your name. We sing the
Oh,
cheers.
all right, good. Like that plays in the back. That's everybody's walk-on.
Yeah, that's our new thing. We're gonna do that for now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That could be a good name for a CrossFit Cheers.
It's got to exist, right? There has to be a CrossFit Cheers.
Probably is.
I'm curious.
I wonder if it's copyrighted or trademarked and like where everybody knows your name is underneath in like the Cheers script.
Yeah.
Definitely trademark infringement.
No, not even a little bit.
All right, y'all. What you got? Eric's last thoughts?
Where does the Lone Ranger take his garbage?
To the dump, to the dump, to the dump, 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 to the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump.
That's all I got.
That was well done.
Hey.
Nice to see you.
You too. That was fun. Hopefully this records and doesn't my computer doesn't crap out. Let's go. Let's get it out. Let's do it before we go. Push our luck, not push our luck. All right.
All right. See ya.
See you guys
on the creek.
But I'm off the creek.
We'll come back. You can be on the creek too.
All right. So then I'll see you
off the creek.
Wait. No, I don't. Oh no. Let's do it again. One more time. We'll do. You just do on the creek. I'll see you.
Time shirtless.
I'll see you when I get back.
No. On the creek.
I'm not.
I'll see you
on the creek. Oh, why are you mouthing it? All right. Let's just dub. If you need to, I'll dub over her voice.
I'll see you
on the creek.
And we're done.
And we're out.